Former Nottingham Forest manager Steve Cooper has decided to take the managerial job of Leicester City. All I'll say is the rivalry this season will be legendary. Here is how you can successfully go ahead and replicate Steve Cooper's tactics into FC24 for Leicester City. The formation that I do think that Steve Cooper would use with this Leicester City side is a 5-2-3 system. Now, when he started off with Nottingham Forest, he essentially deployed a back five system, helping them achieve, promotion to the Premier League. And even in that first season in the Premier League, it was a back five system, and then it eventually evolved into a fullback system. I do think and see a similar route with Steve Cooper and this Leicester City side, but with Nottingham Forest, they played a 5-2-1-2 system, having two strikers up front with an attacking midfielder that could drift all over the place. I do somewhat envisage a slightly different approach, just based off of the players that they are linked with. Of course, Matisse Sal from Juventus, he's a natural right winger that can come in and be deployed on that right flank. So I'm thinking more of a 5-2-3 system, having a front three, more or less giving them the freedom to attack and, score goals and try and unlock the opposition's backline, whilst having a bit of support from the midfield and, of course, the wing backs. But nonetheless, I do think that a five-back system is the route that Steve Cooper will go with this Leicester City side. So if we take a look at Steve Cooper's tactics of the past, the kick and rush approach for FC24 very much does align with how he wants his sides to set up. Now, if you look at Nottingham Forest, Taiwo Awoniyi at times was often very isolated higher up the field, and all it really took was one or two quick transition passes, getting it into Morgan Gibbs-White, and then finding that longer ball over the top. And Awoniyi was in on goal and often putting the ball in the back of the nets. Now, with Leicester City, they do have quite fast, pacey forwards. Mavididi, Futawu, of course, if they bring in Matisse Sal, that's another one. He's not super quick, but he is quite quick in transition. And let's not forget, they've got Patson Daka as well as Jamie Vardy, and whoever they might want to bring in along the way, with the rest of the window still open. So you will look to try and exploit the opposition's backline defenses with the sheer amount of pace that this Leicester City side does have in its frontline areas. For the defensive tactics and instructions, the defensive style should be set to balance, allowing him to maintain the structural integrity of the side as a whole, of course, keeping that back five in shape and more or less making sure that the midfield two aren't overrun at times. And they will also look to focus on setting pressing traps in those central zones, looking to try and overrun the opposition in the midfield areas. The other defensive setting should be a 30-team width as well as a 35-team depth. Now, of course, it is still more or less a mid-block, but it is on the lower end of what you might consider to be a mid-block, looking to try and protect that back 3/back 5 area as much as possible, whilst looking to try and minimize the potential attacking threats just in behind your backline defense. For the offensive instructions, the builder play should be set to long ball. You will see quite often that with Nottingham Forest even, the centre-backs as well as some of the deeper lying midfielders would spray those longer balls in behind or try and get the ball to the frontline area as quick as possible, and often that was with a longer ball pass. So the goalkeeper, the centre-backs, and of course the two defensive midfielders will be in charge of being able to play those longer balls further forward, and of course the direct passing. This will encourage the front three to make those runs into the advanced space just in behind and into that open area just in behind your opposition's defensive line. As for the width, it will be set to 70, looking to try and stretch the play. Of course, you're playing with wingers as well as wing backs, so you want to try and stretch the play and have them, working in tandem along either the left or the right flank. And of course, the players in the box will be set to a very balanced 5, allowing at least, 2 to 3 players to be in and around the attacking zone as much as possible. More so, your attacking front three. So your wingers might not always be in those wider areas. They will look to get into the box themselves and pose as a potential threat for a cross or a cutback opportunity. And then finally, the corners and the free kicks, as always, will be set to 4. Taking a look at the individual player roles and instructions, starting off at the front with Jamie Vardy. Now, of course, I am going off of what Steve Cooper has expected from his past strikers and what Jamie Vardy is very good at. Now, Vardy loves to run off the backline, peel into that space, either operate down the left or the wider right channel, and of course, look to attack the box as much as possible with his pace. Now, he is also, 35, 36, maybe even 37 years old, so that pace isn't always going to be there. But you've also got the likes of Patson Daka, so that's another very pacey forward. And maybe they go and sign an Eddie Nketiah from an Arsenal, who also has a load of pace to go ahead and try and exploit the opposition with. But for the striker, you want him peeling off the backline, drifting into those wider areas, opening up that central space for one of your other two forwards to maybe go ahead and try and drift into an exploit. At the same time, using the pace, that will generate the fluidity in that frontline area, looking to try and get in behind, press and probe, and try and stretch the play as much as possible on a horizontal not on a horizontal, on a vertical plane. Now, in terms of the interceptions, it will be set to normal, and then finally, maintaining him on a basic defensive support. We'll often see this front three drop back at times, or alternatively having the likes of a Jamie Vardy or a Patson Daka stay further up the field and be a solid outlet for potential counter-attack. Your two wingers in Mavididi as well as Fatawu will be set to the same roles and instructions, and starting off, they will be set to come back on defense. You want them as often as possible dropping quite deep, supporting the wing-backs or even supporting in the midfield areas. You will see a 5-4-1 system generate when out of possession of the ball, having the striker be the lone focal point in the transition of moments and attacks. And that is because your two wingers will look to drop into those central areas and help support the midfield zones. The chance creation will be set to maintaining a balance with allowing them to frequently work with the wingbacks in those wider areas, or alternatively look to work into the central zones and have that attacking freedom combining with one another, or even looking to attack the central areas that the striker has gone and vacated. Now, of course, you want them to use their pace, getting behind, and also try and arc their runs into the box, looking to try and work their way into those attacking frequent zones as much as possible, waiting for the crosses or the cutback situations. As you'll see here for Fatawu, he's got the same role and instructions as well. He'll be very much a threat as what Mavididi and Jamie Vardy will be to the side. The two defensive midfielders, Ndidi as well as Winks, will be set to maintaining the same role and instructions. And of course, Ndidi was set to leave the club on a free, and he recently signed a new contract extension, which is very good for Leicester, because losing him and a whole lot of other players, plus the manager and Enzo Maresca, would have not been great. For their roles and instructions, they will be set to the same, like I mentioned, and that will be cut passing. You want them to maintain a very good zonal approach in the central midfield areas, looking to try and disturb and disrupt any offensive rhythm that the opposition might be trying to generate, as well as you will at times see them split and work into those wider areas, looking to try and help support the wing backs when it comes to dealing with the wider attacking players from the opposition. The attacking support will be set to stay back while attacking, but every now and then you will see at least one of these players getting further forward and looking to try and help support the attack with a great ball driving movement further forward, or a driving movement with the ball further forward. I think that's how you should say it. And you will see the other ones stay back and look to try and shield the back line areas. The interceptions will be set to normal, and then finally stick to position and cover the central areas. Now, because they do have a nice zonal approach, they will look to drift every now and then, but more so you want them in front of that back 3/back 5 at times, looking to try and break up the play in the central zones. As you'll see here for Sir Harry Winks, he's got the same role and instructions as well. The two wingbacks in Pereira and Justin will be set to the same roles and instructions, and that will be join the attack as well as overlap. At times, you will see a 3-4-3 system formulate by having your wingbacks push higher up into the midfield zones, and even at times operate as those wingers, looking to operate higher up in the final third, whipping in crosses and cutbacks for your front three to go ahead and latch onto in the box. Finally, you will see here that I have set their defensive positioning to stick to position. You don't want them drifting out wide, or having that step-up ability where they might be out of position at times with one quick through ball over the top. So you want them in their natural position, looking to hug the touchlines and make sure that nothing's really getting past them. As you'll see here for the role of James Justin, he will be allowed the freedom to join the attacks as well as overlap. And I will say, naturally, James Justin is right-footed. He is fairly decent with his left foot, but maybe Leicester go and buy another fullback. I do think that they might need to go and acquire a fullback, especially if they are going to play a back 5 system where you need a very good player at patrolling up and down the left and the right flank areas. The three centre-backs will be Wout-Faes, Connor Cody, as well as Vestergaard, and all of them, as you'll see, will be set to conservative interceptions. This will help them very much keep in line with one another, and also not looking to overly engage with the opposition's forward line, not looking to launch themselves into tackles and break that defensive structure where they might be able to be exploited by. So you need them being very strong, very sturdy, very disciplined with how they might be looking to play. Now, I also know that Steve Cooper is a manager that does like his side being able to, on the odd occasion, play out from the back, looking to establish a good first phase build-up play, having the goalkeeper play it into the centre-backs, and then progress the ball further forward, whether it's a long ball or just a short ball pass into the midfield. That will be up to the three centre-backs, who will look to either get on the ball, drive further forward into the midfield, or again, lay it off with a quick pass into the forward line or into the other midfielders. So you will be seeing quite a bit of that with this side. And then finally, for the goalkeeper in Hermansen, who was a very good ball-playing goalkeeper under Maresca last season in the championship. Now, I don't think that the likes of Steve Cooper would require his goalkeeper to be a sweeper keeper, but you will expect him to be very physically imposing in the air, looking to try and claim those aerial balls, although Hermansen isn't the best at doing so, that's why I've set him to maintaining a balanced approach. But in terms of saving outside of the box, I don't think Cooper would want and require his goalkeeper off of his line. Stay on your line, make the saves, and make sure you're keeping the ball out of the back of the net as much as possible. So that will be the role of Hermansen, as well as looking to play out from the back on the odd occasion when it's necessary. And there you go, people. That is how I would successfully go ahead and implement and replicate Steve Cooper's tactics into FC24 for Leicester City. Of course, the new man to come in and replace the likes of Enzo Maresca, who has obviously gone on to Chelsea. Now, of course, little disclaimer, this is just what I would assume and associate with a Steve Cooper Leicester City side. Next season rolls around, or even in pre-season, he could be playing a back four system. I think that this side is most suited to a back five system, due to the fact that they have gone and made a few signings that just make me believe that a back five system just suits the side very, very well. Anyways, we are going to hop on into the gameplay, where we will discuss everything in further detail. Okay, people, Leicester versus Everton. Now, I will say this, don't expect to see a lot of possession. We might have a bit of possession because Everton also are prepared to give the other side a decent amount, but more times than not, Steve Cooper is quite happy for his team to concede possession, invite the press, invite the pressure from the opposition, and work into the available space and exploit them with it. Anyways, we've got a foul early doors, and Irogbanan, a new Everton signing, fouls my man. That's not good enough. But yes, we will look to just try and play out as best as possible. James Justin working his way down this left flank, looking to work the ball into the box. Back post, Mavididi is there. And we have won the ball back, although it's fallen to an Everton player. Almost getting the ball back there yet again. And you will see quite often that the two defensive midfielders will look to just patrol and try and break up the play, having the likes of a Connor Cody possibly go on and step on into the midfield zones. Because, of course, Cody, before he was shifted into a centre-back by Nuno Espirito Santos, he was a midfielder, more so a defensive midfielder, before, being converted into a centre-back. There's some news for you. That's some good trivia, I think. Maybe? Look at the overlap from the right wing-back, Pereira. He's made a great run. He's looking to chip it into the back post area. Mavridides brought it down superbly. He's fired it into Jamie Vardy, who's had the ball blocked away. A great opportunity and chance created, and that is something that they are very good at being. I mean, just basing it off of Nottingham Forest in the championship were very, very direct. They were very direct. In doing the research, I watched a Statman Dave video, and he was talking about the Nottingham Forest game versus Swansea when they were in the championship, and Forest had 30% possession, but in that game had 27 shots with I don't know how many were on target, but there were a lot on target. And that allowed the side, I think, to go on and win. I think it was 3-0, 4-0, something like that. So a very good direct way of play under Steve Cooper. And of course, like I mentioned, he did try and develop the Forest side into playing into a back four system. He developed the tactics to be a bit more possessional based. But whilst the likes of Leicester, oh my god, a great diving header. Whilst the likes of Leicester get used to and acclimate their way of play with, Steve Cooper, I think it will be a very direct way of playing. Not really focus on possession, not really focus on the style, but more so focus on getting the ball in the back of the net as much as possible with a very sturdy defense. Great ball whipped in. Vestergaard! He's 6'6", can't even head the ball straight. Goodness me. I also heard, I don't know how true this is though, Harry Maguire is linked with a move back to Leicester. Now, of course, Man United will not be getting anywhere near the 80 million that we paid. But a solid cheeky 20 mil, that's not a bad deal for both clubs. Maguire returns to a team that he found a lot of joy with. Oh my god, what a sensational goal! Speaking of Harry Maguire, a little deft back header from Jamie Vardy into the path of Mavididi, who made that central run, because obviously Vardy vacated that space. Central run from the left winger, who just tucks it home with a fantastic, that's a front three combination goal right there. What was it? Yes, it was, because Pereira's in the box. Right winger whips in the cross, striker heads it back across the goal, and the left winger is there to tuck it home. Sean Dyche in the bin. Now, just before the break, we don't want to concede a goal just before the break here. Come on, boys. Stay focused, stay central. And look at this backline defense. Not really looking to shift and engage too much unless you really have to in the latter stages of it. And Vestergaard is there. He wins the ball back. And that will be half time. Beautiful defensive display. A really good goal. Very happy with how the tactics have displayed. Of course, we may have quite a bit of possession here because Everton are just giving us the ball. But in terms of the defensive structure, the defensive approach, the freedom that the front three do have, I think it's on full display right here, right now. Okay, so just taking a look at some of the stats at halftime. 57% possession compared to Everton's 43%. Not really what you would associate with Steve Cooper, or at least the first phases of Steve Cooper at a club. But, like I mentioned, Everton, they're quite happy to give us the ball. Expected goals of 1.8 compared to their 0.0. Like I say, our defensive structure has been so good. It's been very hard for Everton to try and, penetrate the back line, create chances, create opportunities. The communication between the players has been there, and that is very much what you would associate with a Cooper side. 52 passes compared to 28 from Everton, 7 tackles compared to 3, and 4 tackles won compared to just the measly 1. A pass accuracy of 90%, and a dribble success rate of 95. Just taking a look at some of the passing phases and actions of play. And there should be a pass between Jamie Vardy and Mavididi there, because of course Vardy got the assist for the Mavididi goal. But anyways, the passes have been quite good, have been very structured. A lot of passes in that back line and that midfield area, and then working the ball into the attackers, who would then hopefully go on and work the ball into the back of the net themselves. But like we said, 52 passes, 47 of those passes were successful, with only 5 being unsuccessful, and 3 of those passes were intercepted, which might not be the worst thing in the world. But we do need to have a few more vertical passes being played forward into the forward line, looking to stretch the play on a vertical scale. And then finally, as you'll see right here, the defensive actions that we have been able to incorporate in that first half of play. We've won the ball back 7 times. It's been outstanding. And a lot of them in our half. I mean, what's that? 2, 4, 6 ball recoveries in our own half, tackling and breaking up the play. And we've also been quite, happy and able to go on and win the ball 3 times in the opposition's half, which isn't too bad if you ask me. Just pass it back, look to try and soak up the press and the pressure. Vestergaard. What can he maybe go and do? Oh, into Mavididi, who's worked into that half space. He is attacking the half space quite nicely. He has still got the ball in his possession. Looks to cut it back into a great zonal area. Harry Winks is there to recover it nicely. Ndidi's there to play it back into Harry Winks, who probably is the more technically gifted of the 2 defensive midfielders. Great back post area run from Mavididi. Vestergaard doing the most right there and then, breaking up the play and allowing this side to go on and try and counter-attack on the opposition. Jamie Vardy, he is just offside, but a great bit of movement. And as you saw there, everybody was back except for the striker, and then the other players were able to then join up with him and launch that quick transition counter-attack with a great long ball approach. Yes, Vardy was offside, but it still applies to how you need to be playing and how you will play, because that's how the side will be looking to set up. We only have a single goal advantage here. That's a bad defensive breakdown of our back line. I knew the moment Vestergaard drifted inside, it was going to be exploited with a great pass from Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Vestergaard should have stayed slightly wider, and that opened up space for Harrison to go and exploit it. Anyways, nonetheless, we go again, and hopefully we can find a result here. Into Pereira. Ricardo Pereira lifts in a great ball. Oh my goodness me. Good ball recovery, good ball movements. And what can Ndidi go and do here? He is charging forward, but he has been tackled from the retreating striker in Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Ndidi plays a lovely ball into Fatawu, who tries to lay it back into Jamie Vardy, and he can't do it, and he's lost the ball. I don't know why I played it in that direction, to be honest with you. Well, we've won it back, though, and now we can look to try and quickly transition into the attacking phases of play. Lovely ball out wide into Mavididi. He's looking for more support, and Jared Branthwaite, he's there to recover it. Just looking to apply a bit of a press And we've won the ball back yet again. Lots of ball recoveries. You will see this side is a ball recovery machine. Long ball approach into the box. Jamie Vardy. What a goddamn save. What a goddamn save. That is an incredible save from Jordan T-Rex Arms Pickford. We're going to go short with it. We're going to go to the back post with it. No, we're not. Fatawu lays the ball in there. Vestergaard can't get it done. Back into Vestergaard. Back into... and he said Mavididi. That's Ndidi. There we go. Ndidi this time. Ndidi! Oh my god. T-Rex Arms yet again with another fantastic save. Okay, let's just whip this one in. We've got Vestergaard in the box. He's ready to pounce on anything. And that will be the game as a whole. It ends 1-1 in a nutshell. It was a very unfortunate defensive lapse in concentration that led to the Everton goal. But anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Don't forget to smash that like button. And let's take a look at the full-time stats. So, as you'll see here, 57% possession still in our favor compared to 43% from Everton. And they had one shot the entire game. So literally, the one moment where the concentration slipped was the one moment that they used to score against us. We had an expected goals of 2.3 compared to their 0.7, still only scoring one goal in the game. And 103 passes compared to 64, with 16 tackles compared to just 7. So there you have it, people. That is the Steve Cooper tactics, or at least the way that I envisage Steve Cooper applying his tactics to this Leicester City side, at least for season 1 of, you know, his time at Leicester. Anyways, until the next time, until the next one, I hope you guys have a goddamn smashing day. I'm out of here. Peace.